That's so crazy.
1 year and 16 days.
1 year and what?
16 days.
Oh, I don't want to hear it. I'm gonna slap your tire so you can't leave town right away.
What are you talking about? You've already retired.
Right. I'm telling you, like,
No, not the way I go.
He's retired twice at least. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the board meeting on June the 13th, 2022, 6 o'clock, central office. So we do start immediately on time. So we need approval of the meeting agenda as submitted.
I'll make a motion to approve the meeting agenda as submitted.
second.
We have a motion and a second for the approval of the meeting agenda as submitted. All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Thank you. Motion carries. Okay, now we're going to go down to item 3, which is presentations, and we'll start out with board members. It gives them a chance to comment on things that are going on in the district or things that are important to them. And so, Clint, I'd like to start with you.
Thank you, Dr. Thomas, for getting us through this transition. Your service has been appreciated very much.
Appreciate that.
Let you know that.
Esther?
I mean, you beat me to it. I really appreciate how much support you've given us, and you've really been a blessing. So.
Thank you.
Amen.
And I would definitely concur with everything they have said. So I'm excited to see all of these faces I've seen coming in the hallway. I'm sure they'll be coming up here in just a few minutes. And so it just makes me excited. I'm really tickled with some of the things that we have been able to accomplish as a district, academic-wise and as well as extracurricular-wise. Because, I mean, this, to me, I mean, I know it's really not over, but coming out of a pandemic, I mean, this would be really kind of the first team and things that we've done and back in school with kids and from teachers and we've seen some amazing things. And so
Yes.
I just want to say kudos to everyone who offered a part in that process. Thank you very much.
Wade, is always glad to hear from you. We have been blessed since October to have Dr. Thomas with us. He has calmed the waters. He has taken care of business.
Absolutely.
When we talked to him, we didn't want an interim that didn't do anything. We wanted someone who took it seriously and wanted to be our superintendent. So Dr. Thomas has done that and fulfilled that role extremely well. He communicates with the board all the time. He asks questions and definitely has made my life a lot easier as a board chair. And because we have a great relationship and something that we try to keep track of between us and the rest of the board. So, and with that said, we now have superintendent comments.
Well, I just, again, I've been honored to serve in this role. As you all know, I wasn't looking for a job, would not have, to be honest, wouldn't have taken another interim job, but with my family members here in the district and certainly I think the need for leadership, I saw it as a really good opportunity. So I thank the board for putting trust in me and it's been good. I've really enjoyed it. Can't say that I'm not looking forward to July 1 as well, but it's been really good. I want the board to know that I have prayed for this district every day that I've been on the job, for our students, for our staff, for our bus drivers, for our administrators, for our board, and since you've hired Dr. Ross every day, I've prayed for him as well, and I do believe that's a foundation that this district can build on. So it's truly been my honor to serve. So
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
And to let everybody know, Dr. Thomas's time is not up right now. We really wanted him to stay on board as Dr. Ross is coming on board, and we need to really get you all tight together to start making sure we have the transition meetings so that Dr. Ross is aware of everything going on in the district.
we've been doing that. We'll keep doing that over the next little bit. So,
Okay,
yeah.
that sounds good.
You got all the brownies you're going to get, though.
I don't think he's gotten any brownies.
Yes, he has.
Yeah, Lynn stops by every now and then.
Oh,
You got
Esther has-
brownies?
yes.
Esther has stopped by a few times. Jennifer has stopped by, but Wade and And
What's going on? What's going on, buddy?
I'll tell you
I
what,
won't call you out.
Well, you don't have to, but you heard your ad,
I
the best
guess
is yet
maybe
to come,
coffee might
right?
be in order, I don't know.
You got 2 weeks, guys.
2 weeks? Ah, no problem. We can make something happen. It might be a
Who's
thing on the
counting, right?
porch. Who's
Who's
counting?
counting, right?
But, and again, thank you also, Dr. Thomas, again, and for all you've done for our district. Okay, let's go to student recognition. No, you're finished on your part?
That's correct, yes.
Okay. So, Mr. Lumen,
Yes, sir.
are you gonna introduce
Sherry and
I
I
think
Sherry,
we're
both of you
gonna,
guys?
we have a lot,
will
so
tag team.
I'll give you track and I'll take
Okay.
baseball.
Sounds good.
Because I think baseball's missing some.
You want me to start with Trey? Okay.
If you wanna invite them in, that would be great. Wade, why don't you be a board member of record for the pictures?
Oh, okay, I
Yes,
can do
we
that.
can.
You look pretty nice today.
Yeah, warm.
I did wear my blue shirt.
How about that?
But, am I gonna be in the picture with
Yeah.
Ms. Satterley or Mr. Lumen?
Both.
Yeah, you are getting exposed.
We're gonna take some pictures this weekend.
We'll still get in. They're pants for basketball. Okay, we're gonna change that to baseball first.
Okay.
Baseball.
Now you have no choice.
Hi, guys, come on in. Got everybody?
We have a couple of track athletes who are like in transit here, so.
Keep going, guys, just make a line across the front right there, there you go.
Yeah.
Sherry, you might have to double them up.
Yeah. Will you be responsible somewhere?
You do.
Keep coming, come on, come on in. Yeah, just kind of slide in there with you if you have to. There you go, ladies.
Like some of y'all been out in the sun.
The manager's in the corner. Some of them.
Wait.
All right, so we have two groups of athletes to recognize tonight. One of those being the Danville High School baseball team, who were District 45 runner-up and Recon 12 champions, which took them to the state championship. But they lost in the first round, but still, in my opinion, the best baseball team in the state. And they are so much fun to watch. If you didn't get to watch them this season, you're going to miss out on some of these seniors. So I have a certificate for all of you, but all of you are here. So Jackson Clines.
There you go.
Zane Ford. Zane's here. Yay! Oh, there, I did not saw you join also. Didn't see Dyron. Okay, we'll go ahead and say all their names, even though they're not here. Dyron Moody. Blake Shilton. No Logan Smothers. AJ Stanfield. No Journey White. Caden Patterson. Ethan Burchett. Brady Baxter. No Brady. Keegan Wilcher. No Keegan. No Henry. Henry Tubb. Fox Spears. No Jack Simpson. Jack Simpson. No. Sam Shearer. Brady Morse. Sam Matherly. Albert Honecker. No Albert. He's at the beach. Oh, okay. CJ Burt. No. Jarius Bryant. So they're working, they're at the beach. Jarius is at basketball, so a lot of these guys are multi-sport athletes. Preston Barnes. No Preston.
Yeah.
I don't have a certificate for this one.
No cross.
No. Give him Preston. We're not giving him Preston. And girls, I didn't know you were going to be here, so I don't have one for you here, but I will make you one. This is Laura and Jenna Akers. Come on up. Best managers in the state for the baseball team. And then our coaches, of course, they can't go unmentioned. Terry Pittman, I don't see him anywhere. No, Terry? CJ Lynn? Nope. Why are you there? Josh Lockery? Nope. Barry Arnold? Duran Elmore? Duran? Andrew Leisure? And the one and only head coach of these boys, Mr. Paul Morris.
No, I can't see all the board members, but thank you for all your support. All right, our administrators. It's been a great season. These guys worked really hard. It starts in August with our guys that aren't playing other sports, and they put in a lot of time and a lot of hard work, not just this year, but this group of seniors. Every year they were in high school, they won 30 or more games, which has never happened in school history before. Back-to-back regional champs. Their freshman year, they were runners-up in the region. So it's been a successful group. And those assistant coaches that Ms. Satterley just mentioned, you know, they get the majority of the credit because they really pushed these guys and donated a lot of free time and worked a lot of hours with these guys to get them to where they were. So want to thank them and all of you guys for all your support, and players and managers for all your hard work. And we also, that's great, we had awesome parents. Mr. Stanfield over there is one of them. Great parent support, and it takes, like everybody says, it takes a village, and it has. And a lot of these guys and these parents have worked with these kids since they were little bitty of 7, 8 years old, and brought them on up through. And so it's been a pleasure to coach this group, and wish them all the best. And the returning guys, we have a saying, it's on the wall in our little weight room at the academy. What's it say, guys? You returning players.
Test.
Tradition never graduates. All right, so we expect big things back again for those returning players. Thanks for having us.
Whoa. You have to get in there and for a picture.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm trying to get in front of the big guy.
Okay, everybody smile in 3, 2, 1.
Oh, the camera just broke.
Thank you.
Laura, I'll mail you. Noah, I will mail yours when I mail these. Okay?
Paul, thank you. Great season.
Hey, man. Keep up the good work. Keep up the good work.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Appreciate your help.
I'm going to give you these, but
just
I'm going to mail
You
them.
can give them all to me. I'll save them. Okay. I'll just have to give them all to them at the banquet a week
Sure.
from Friday.
I'll mail those.
Yeah. That'll be fine.
Jack, you all ready?
I think they were waiting on Jazz.
All right, we're going to celebrate our track team now. And this group did a phenomenal job under the tutelage of Mr. Verhoeven getting to the state. And there are a lot of different events that they competed in. And so I'll name the names and tell you the events that they're doing. So Cadence Key was in the 4x200 relay, Region 5 winner, and the 4x200 relay, KHSA, 3rd place in the state. Chloe Stryzik was in the 4x200 relay, Region 5 winner, and also the 4x200 relay and 3rd in the state. Zaria Ford was also on that Region 5 4x200 relay and 3rd place in the state. Amari Wright was the 4th member of that 4x200 relay, Region 5 winner and 3rd place in the state. Jaslyn Donahue was long jump 8th place in the state.
She's not here yet.
Wayne Swing. Come on up, guys.
Yeah, somebody come and represent. Yeah.
There you go.
Good job, Ken.
Wayne Swing was a 4x400 relay Region 5 winner, 5th place in the state. Ryan Clarkson was also on that team, the 4x400 relay Region 5 winner and 5th place in the state. Jerome is in the house. Jerome Johnson was a 4x400 relay Region 5 winner, 5th place in the state. Brady Bischoff was also on that team on the 4x400 relay. Brady Bischoff. Ryan Clarkston was in the 4x100 relay Region 5 winner. Another one from Ryan. Caleb Burns was on the 4x100 relay Region 5 winner. Elijah Kinley was on the 4x100 Region 5 winner. And Jerome Johnson was also on These teams were so successful, and these athletes were so successful because of the leadership of their coach. So we'd like to honor right now Mr. Chris Verhoeven. Along with his assistant coach, Deontay Caldwell. Shantonia Miller. Todd Swing. And Parker Ray. Mr. Verhoeven.
Well, you know, Paul said a lot of the things that I would reiterate. Thanks for the support from the board and from our administration. And again, you know, we've got more parents here tonight than we've got kids. We've got kids that are working, that are at basketball, maybe en route from Campbellsville. We're hoping that she can get here. We talk real slow. We've got some other soccer camps. We've got them playing other sports. So, you know, these are the kind of athletes and kids we have. They're just involved in everything. They're multi-sport athletes. They're really good academically, and they're just busy people. So we appreciate that they were able to come. And you know, it is really important for us to have this many parents here tonight. The people that you see here tonight pretty much been at every track meet. They've traveled very well, even 2 hours away to go to region track meet, which is a long way to go for a region. So you know, we'll be thanking them some more and recognizing them at our celebration banquet later. But it's nice to have community support. It's nice to have support of a small town. Hey, there she is.
Yay!
Big applause.
So this is Jaslyn Donahue, and this is Azaria Ford.
That's bigger than you.
Now her dad doesn't have to be in the picture. But he likes attention. He always did. Ever since I've known you. But it is always great to have kids, you know, be successful because it's, you know, just a testament to all the hard work that they put in. You know, a lot of times coaches get all this credit and
you know, sometimes we get a lot of blame too, but it's always the kids. The kids are the ones that do all the work. We just talk about it and, you know, reminisce about back in the day, what we did, but we just, you know, try to inspire them to work hard and be the best that they can be. And it's always nice that they win medals at state and get recognized not only at the state level, but on a local level like here in this community. So we do appreciate the recognition. It's always nice to see kids getting recognized for all their hard work. So thank you all.
Get a group picture.
Big smile on 3, 2, 1. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Again, call it that.
Thank you.
Thank you. No problem. Thank you for taking your time.
Chris.
Thank you, Mayor.
Was that the other?
So the track team cleared the room.
Those are all.
We have all the important people here, so. Okay, let's move on, and that was a great recognition. It really is something to see the kids that not only succeed academically, but also athletically. And what great representation for our school district on the statewide venue. Makes it great. Okay, let's move on to personnel notifications. If any of y'all have any questions concerning that, get with Dr. Thomas or Dr. Ross on that. So can we move on? Are we okay with that, guys?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so now item number 4 is that we need approval of the previous meeting. We need a motion, please.
I make a motion to approve the May 24th, 2022 meeting minutes as presented.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second for the approval of the May 24th, 2022 meeting as submitted. All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Thank you all. Okay, item reserved for the public. Susan, did I shut you down? I'm sorry. But when did we pass that, Dr. Thomas? Was it a couple weeks ago?
It was 2 meetings ago, so it was at our regular, I don't remember, it was regular May meeting is what I want to say, but it may have been the regular April meeting.
But we did change it to where the agenda items would be spoken for at the time of the meeting, and then anything else that, if you would want, anyways, we'll get you a copy of the new policy, and then basically it just takes a 5-day notice. Okay? But I'm glad you're here. Thank you. All right, so that was all we had for reserved for the public, is that correct? Okay.
I believe so.
There's no one else in here. We'll just make sure. Okay, thanks. All right, so now we're going to move on to item number 6, which is the 22-23 salary schedule. Have you all had a chance to take a re-look at that? This does include the 5% raise and the $1 an hour for those folks.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Does anybody have any questions or concerns on that?
No.
Okay. Wade, I would really like for you to make that motion.
I would be more than happy to make that motion. I'd like to recommend at this time for the approval of the 22-23 salary schedule as presented.
I second that.
So we have a motion and a second for the approval of the 22-23 salary schedule as submitted. All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. All right. The 22-23 employee handbook. Can you speak on that?
Sure.
Okay.
So each year we do our handbook. KSBA actually oversees our handbook, so if there's been any changes in policy or anything that affects employees, they'll update that for us. Really the only updates this year are personnel, so you'll see in there that we're leaning forward toward the next year. Dr. Ross is listed as superintendent. And to be honest, that's pretty much the major update that's on the employee handbook, because we've not made any real changes policy-wise that affect employees.
Do we have to vote on him?
On him, you've already done, you've already done
I
that.
was gonna say, I think we already did.
I got a smile out of it.
Mr. Ball, we already did, but if you want to do it again.
Nah, we won't repeat.
So we do need a motion for the approval of the employee handbook.
I'd offer a motion for the approval of the employee handbook as presented.
Second motion.
So we have a motion and a second for the approval of the 22-23 employee handbook. All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. All right. We are now down to the auditor's contract.
So on the auditor's contract, last month we approved the auditors, and it's just really a procedural thing. The board approved our auditor for the 22-23 school year, and they had submitted a 3-year contract, which would enable us to have the same auditor for the next 3 years. So just procedural, that we want to recommend that we go ahead and accept the same auditors for the following 2 years as well, 22-23, 23-24, and I'm sorry, let me back up. The 23-24, 24-25 school years, that's at the same amount that we approved last month for the 22-23 of $18,000 a year.
Any questions on that?
No.
And I'm going to add quickly, auditors are getting very hard to find. Auditors are getting very hard to be willing to do schoolwork. I talked to 2 districts this week. They called me and wanted to know who our new auditors were, because one auditor they had raised their price from $18,000 to $29,000.
Oh.
And the other one got no bids. So I feel very blessed that we have these folks for 3 years. So and whoever got them involved, thank you very much. But, it's a blessing that we have them. So, okay, we need a motion, please.
So I make,
Go ahead, go ahead.
So I make a motion to approve the financial auditor Summers, McCrary, and Sparks PSC for 2023 to 2024, 2024 to 2025 school years.
Second motion.
We have a motion and a second for the approval of the financial auditors for the years of 23, 24, and 24 and 25. All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Okay, every year we are given a list from finance office concerning folks that our organizations that have given us $1,000 or more. And this is just something we have to do. I hope you all have read the list. We have to really thank these folks for being with us. Whitaker Bank, of course, very large donation of $6,000, and I'm not going to read them all, plumb or run, the extraordinary amount of work that goes into that, and also the money that's given back, and then it goes on. So we are very blessed to have these folks that have given this kind of money to our athletics and our school district. So, any other comments or questions? Okay, and thanks to all these folks. Okay, we need a motion, please.
I'd like to offer a motion for the approval of the donations according to the list presented.
I second that.
So we have a motion and a second for the approval of the donations over $1,000 as presented. All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Fantastic. Okay, Ms. Dewey, you're here. Great. I hope you all had a chance to read. This is really a big deal. To get the district seal of Arts Excellence for this coming school year, and would you please kind of talk to us a little bit about this?
Sure, I'm happy to. Some of you know that at the Danville schools, we've actually been involved with Pathways to College and Career in the Arts since KDE began that work, I don't know, a half a dozen years ago. And then the original pathways never came to fruition. And over the past year, KDE has put together this Seal of Arts Excellence, which recognizes our students for substantial work in the arts at graduation. And they make some recommendations, and they certainly, we have to hold our students to an advanced level of studies as defined in the standards for the visual and performing arts. So it's three, the way we have written it, and districts are free to interpret and make this seal their own. And I worked not only on this, but I worked with both our elementary, our middle school, and our high school teachers, because we have to have input from everybody who works with our students. You know, what does it mean to hold our students to a rigorous level of advanced study? To reach an advanced level of studies as guided by our standards, you have to have a minimum of 3 sequential courses. So our seal is 3 to 4 courses, because the other requirement from the state is a capstone project. So students could do that as part of their 4th year, or they could do a student created, teacher guided, and evaluated capstone project on their own after they finish a 3-year sequence of courses, which we felt, if a student doesn't start in the arts until their sophomore year, but they're like, wow, this is my thing, we want to give them that opportunity as well, especially since they can reach that level of coursework. So they can do it within the course, or they can do it on their own. So they could conceivably, if they started as a sophomore, be taking their 3rd year courses and then doing an independent study or an additional capstone project. So we gave ourselves a little bit of room to meet our students' needs, meet them where they are, and yet at the same time hold them to that advanced level of standards. There are several ways, and we'll continue. Sorry, it's on my phone right now. We'll continue certainly working with the high school administration on how best to recognize it, but there are several possibilities outlined in this proposal. Should you approve that proposal, there is some information requirements to graduate with a Seal of Arts education. A student must be in good standing and eligible to earn a high school diploma. The student must successfully complete those courses with a grade of B or better. The student earns a C, they can complete a second application to petition the arts faculty to potentially graduate with the Seal of Excellence. They have to master an advanced level of study based on the KAS Visual and Performing Arts Standards. They have to show growth and progress. They must participate, or they may participate, and we strongly will encourage them to participate in juried arts events. And our students do anyway. Our visual arts students are submitting work to juried contests for high school students. Our band and choir students attend KMEA festivals and are juried through that process. And our theater students regularly attend 1 to sometimes 2 student theater statewide festivals a year, and their work is juried during those processes, so during those conferences. So we already have that built into what we do. Guidelines, a course sequence progression, and then just a timeline, which is as much for us to hold us accountable as arts faculty and administrators for getting this all done as anything else. We're excited about this. Our students in the arts, they work, they're as dedicated as any college and career pathway we have in the school, and they deserve this recognition. And the high school has been giving them recognition, but this allows us to take it a step further, because this is a state-approved Seal of Arts Excellence that, if you all approve, would then go on their diploma, go on their transcript. They would receive the appropriate honors at graduation and any graduation events, that kind of thing. Do you have any questions?
No, I think it's fantastic.
Absolutely.
So, thank you for getting this put together. I like the calendar. That really is definite, so.
You know, we'll deviate a little bit.
Oh, I know that, yes, I do, Ms. Dewey, so, but anyways, well, thank you for this, and this will be a great honor for our kids. And it already has been, so.
Yeah, it has been, and now we can formalize it and make it that much more intentional.
Okay.
Yeah, we got some good goals to work toward.
Does anybody have any questions or comments concerning the
No,
seal?
thank you.
I call it the seal of approval. So, we need a motion, please.
I'm making a motion that we approve the art seal of excellence that's presented to us.
I second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second for the approval of the art seal of excellence. All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Mrs. Dewey.
Thank you.
Okay, you all may not be aware, but University of Kentucky is no longer going to be supplying an athletic trainer to us. Strictly a business decision on their part. So we definitely need an athletic trainer. We've had one for years and years and years, and so I'd like for Mrs. Fisher to speak to us on this contract and, you know, the consist, are we going to be, what we had with UK and all like that, so.
Well, like Mr. Becker said, just recently, in the last several weeks, the University of Kentucky had contacted me and they talked about the contract, because this was our year to renew that contract. It's been 2 years with the current one that we have, so it was kind of coming to a close when we had, and we're going to look to renew. Not their athletic training services didn't make this decision, it was a business decision, because locally, when we have kids get injured in our athletics programs, I often send them to Ephraim McDowell, and most always to the orthopedic office here. And Dr. Unger is a new orthopedic in town. He's been here probably for about 18 to 24 months. Comes often to our games and sees those kids. He did his training at the University of Kentucky, is very familiar with the athletic services there. When some of the administrative people at UK started taking a look at the number of injuries and athletes that we were sending to them and what they might be making, unfortunately, we all know a lot of time in business it comes, you know, to money. And they were just looking, and they really weren't getting a lot of our kids like they do with some of their other athletic training contracts there in the Lexington area. So Dr. Unger, along with UK and myself, started, you know, putting things together. We talked with Ephraim McDowell, and they're like, absolutely, you know, we want to do that, we want to provide. So Dr. Unger would be the physician with that, and the contract that you have with you there would be with Ephraim McDowell. It's the very same contract. It's my understanding that the legal department here at the hospital, as well at UK, you know, they got together. It's the same contract. Very, very similar, you know, writing and everything, just kind of copied over. And the amount of money is the same. It's just that our provider will now be Ephraim McDowell and not UK.
So the wording is the same, but the only thing changed was the identifying party.
Yes, sir. Yeah. The provider.
I have not, I don't know what the answers of that is or not.
I don't know. Has it been submitted to?
It is not, and I do give Ms. Fisher a lot of credit because this happened so quickly, and we understood that we wanted to get this in front of the board so that we could secure these services as we move into July. And so with it being the exact same contract, I mean, we can send it on to Chris or to Vince and let them make any adaptations that they see fit based on the board's approval. But we would certainly, again, just simply because the timing that is involved, would encourage you to accept the contract with those provisions. And we've got Chris, we can print out a copy and get forward to him right now, and then if the board approves, then approve pending their recommendation.
Can, I mean, I think we ought to approve it, but I would like legal to look at it. But as a board, can we say, I know it's a time crunch and we want to get it done, especially before July, we don't meet again before that time. Can we not give as a board that authority to superintendent to, after he looks at it, and if it's good, he can approve it?
Well, I think we can go on and approve it. I'm hoping I'm right on this, Chris.
So subject
And,
to.
and, yeah,
Subject to,
because,
okay,
yeah,
gotcha.
because if it comes down to something that needs to get worked out with legal anyways, they're gonna work it out.
Okay, well, good.
So I think we're fine.
I
with
mean,
that.
whatever we need to do to get it.
Yeah, I think we're really under a crunch, and I know Ephraim wants to know.
Yeah, and we'll have kids, we have
It is,
kids
right, yes.
practicing now.
Absolutely.
And
Yeah, okay,
end of
yeah,
June
we
is
need
when
to
this,
do it
the
now.
current one would be, kids back July 10th to start
Gotcha.
fall.
We still, July 10th is when dead period's over, and we expect kids on July 10th.
Yes, sir,
Yeah, no open fields or anything will happen until July 10th, is that correct?
because of dead period. So
Yeah.
June 25th through
Yeah,
July 9th.
same through
we
our-
can't do
Nothing,
anything.
anything anyway.
But we do have teams doing things until June 24th.
Yeah.
But we still
You're
have
good.
coverage with our
Yeah.
current coverage.
So I'm just saying that so that our legal experts, we want to get it as expedient as we can, but understanding that that is the date that they'd like to have the contract. Ephraim would by July 1st. We would as well.
I don't think that'd be a problem.
All right, great,
Do you
thank you.
care to send me that?
Would you like to have a
Last
hard
year's.
copy? I printed one just to
I
have,
would
and
care to
then
compare
Dr. Thomas can
last
share.
year's, and also just to make sure there's.
Can you just last year's?
Yes, sir, I think I can find that in my email and send it to you right now.
Perfect.
So the motion is worded approve as presented, subject to board attorney review.
Absolutely. I made that motion.
Okay.
I'll second that.
So we have a motion and a second to approve the athletic training agreement as presented. All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Lisa, thank you for your work on this.
Yeah.
I mean, it was done well and done quickly, so thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, let's move down to the staffing reports.
I'm gonna address the payroll clerk, and then we'll turn it over to Dr. Ross for the other two positions. So we've had a lot of discussions around the office in regards to separation or segregation of duties. And I think this is an important time. We've got our payroll clerk is retiring at the end of this month. And so prior to this, this opening, really, Elaine has been fantastic. We've done a lot of good work for our employees. But this is also a really good opportunity for us as a board to have some really good oversight for doing the right thing. And I'm talking about separation of duties. And so here's how I want to put that so that we can have a staff that understands their roles and we don't get taken advantage of as a board. So you think about whenever we have a new employee come into our district, somebody has to create that employee in our payroll system, and somebody has to apply the salary to that person in our system. Currently, we have one person doing both of those, and that's not a separation of duty. And as such, we're subject to fraud or to someone really taking advantage of us. And so what we're submitting on the payroll clerk is really separating that duty. We will hire another payroll clerk, but we'll also have another staff member who will serve dual purposes. And in Danville, we've got people who serve multiple roles, and this will be another hat that is on there. And in so doing, whenever we do this, in order to really separate those job duties, we'll now have someone entering new staff and someone else entering payroll for that staff, and that really limits our liability, so to speak, on that. And so in regards to the payroll clerk, this would be an increase in salary for one employee of only $4 an hour for the year that they work. Nothing else changes. We don't anticipate a full-blown another person in this role. It'll be somebody assuming the role, and then we will fill the retiree's position. So everything, it's a cost to the district of $4 per hour for that person who's already in the role. And we will have segregation of duties, so.
Which, as you all know, when we go to KSBA meetings, especially talking about finances, because the reason we have to take so many hours in finance is because there's been a lot of huge embezzlement that's gone on, which they felt like the board should have known about those things.
It's hard to know about those, and so you have to trust your people, and thankfully
That's
we've
right.
got great people working for us. There's, as I've met with Ms. Huddleston many times, we still have a few areas that we're trying to tweak in regards to, and just think about it in terms of you have accounts receivable,
and accounts payable. Well, you try to separate those duties so the person who's receiving the invoices is not also the one paying it, because, again, for fraud, you could have someone who creates an invoice and they say, I received it and I paid it. And so it's just good practice to have those separation of duty. And so we're working on those things. They're not all there yet. And again, we do individual audits ourselves. Kim and I do, just to randomly pull and sample and look at staff members and all of those things. It's a great need that we hope just everything goes smoothly and we never have to worry about it because we've taken the initiative on the front side.
On this staffing report, I'd like approval of these items separately. So since we've already talked about the
Do we
payroll,
understand that one?
we don't have to. But I think that if there were any questions about anything, that we almost would have to.
Okay.
Is everybody in agreement with that?
Okay.
That we'll approve these separately? So since we've talked about the payroll clerk, I'd like to get a motion on that, please.
I'd offer motion for acceptance as presented by the superintendent for the payroll clerk.
Second.
We have a motion and a second for the approval of payroll clerk 1 for this coming school year. All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Okay.
Dr. Ross.
Dr. Ross?
Greetings, board. How are you out this evening?
Hello, hello.
Thank you guys for having me. I'm going to talk to you about two positions that I feel are crucial for the student body based on the data that I received regarding our students. One position is a student success and equity officer. And basically that individual will work with our school leaders and the district. I mean, they're listed as to report to the superintendent, but to create programs to support our most disadvantaged students, whether that be socioeconomic, racial, but looking at our diversity of our student population currently, when we look at our triangle, it's definitely inverted. And we need to figure out the why and the how to challenge that area to positively impact our students of color, our students that are in financial despair, or our students that just that may have a language barrier. But when we look at from ACT scores, graduation rates, and even looking at our elementary, primary students, when we look at the variation of scores, there's a clear discrepancy, and we need to address that immediately. And I also want to look at even our after graduation success rate, what our students are doing post-graduation from these communities. So we're just trying to shore up our ability to see success in every student and be proactive in making sure that they have the skills necessary to be, and also address this opportunity gap. That is a massive, I know you hear that term thrown around, but it's real, it exists, and we want to ensure that our kids have every opportunity to be successful, no matter where they come from. So that's the basis around that one.
Well, fortunately, I thank you. I am excited beyond, you just don't even know how excited I am to see such a position, because for the last few years, we have really been working in that area, as to the point where this board has approved the Equity Council that we've been working with Dr. Roger Cleveland, who has already presented to this board, and we know where our deficiencies are, and you just addressed some of those, and we hope such a position can help us narrow that gap, in that area. So I'm just, and also, I don't know if you're aware or not, but this position also addresses a part of our strategic plan as well, because that is definitely in the plan. So I'm definitely for the position.
Yes. Anybody else have any comments or concerns?
Dr. Thomas, how many people, I mean, I know the percentage of students that are minorities in our school system is pretty large. I mean, it makes up a lot of people. My biggest concern is kind of, people that are coming here without any English. What percentage is that, and how will this position help with students that don't speak any English and are coming here?
It is a large percentage, and I'll defer to how that will help. And I would defer, Shay, do we know our percentages?
I don't know the percentage exactly, but it's a low percentage overall,
Yeah.
but of our English language learner students, we had several, what we in the English language world call newcomers, who came in this year without any English, especially at the high school level this year. We had 8 at the high school level that came in. That's substantial, yes. While that's a small percentage of the entire student body, 8 is a lot.
Yeah.
When they,
I will also say that Dr. Ross and I spent some time going over some of our advanced placement data, and specifically to the gap population that he mentioned, we consistently saw zeros across the board in that population. And that's not true. We had, I think, 1 student. Does that sound right, Dr. Ross? There was 1.
Maybe 1, but most of the areas were 0.
Yeah. And then as a board, you all sat here in October and heard Ms. Satterley's report where it was in special needs and African American students, especially African American males. And then our English language learners were all performing at 0 is what I would say performing at 0.
Okay.
Well, and I have to comment too, this position we need, it needs to be solid. So, because any of these kids that we help are going to be contributors to our community. So we have to ensure that we're offering that to them, and we have to ensure that we're offering that to our community. So we want contributors, folks that can come into our workforce, or folks that might want to become teachers. And I think it's vital to the success of our schools, but also to our community. So this position, I'm very comfortable with.
Absolutely, I think it'll help definitely shore up our only, because sometimes we throw out the word equity and it's so loose.
Well, and that's
And
one
to be able to have a position of somebody that's going to really just kind of put that under their umbrella and take care of that, it excites me.
Wade, that's been an issue statewide.
Right.
Equity is a word, and it comes under a lot of definitions and a lot of outlooks. And we have to make this position Danville strong.
Well, I just hope that this position will tie in with our equity council that we've already approved and developed, so I hope that they can work, hand in hand.
Also make
That's
sure
true.
successful.
Absolutely. So, at this time, if there's no more discussion,
Well, I was gonna make another comment. My only concern is that we just gave everybody a really big raise. So can we, in the future, continue to discuss how we were gonna come up with the money down the
So,
road?
can I talk
And
about that?
yeah, that would be great.
So, right now, one thing that, I met with Ms. Huddleston, also talked to Dr. Thomas about is, with both of these positions, not just that one position, but with both of these positions, we do not see us needing 2 additional positions in the future. We think with natural attrition and also with addressing some positions that are on the books, but we do not look to fill, that those positions will offset what we're doing. And also with the Director of Teaching and Learning position, I spoke with the directors at Kentucky Department of Education in the Title II office, and we can use Title II funds and Title I funds to address this position and offset any additional costs. So we're not looking at pulling away tons of money from our base funds. We're not looking to do that. We're not looking to add schools to go into Section 6 funds. We're looking to address this as a district with either grant funding or with natural attrition.
All right. Make more sense.
Well, and I think that's going to be important for the community to know, because this board has gotten a lot of criticism, because at one point, the community viewed our central office as being so top-heavy and costly. I do believe that the central office has been honed down quite a bit since those criticisms, but this is something to where, you know, we're being asked to add 2 central office positions. Well, it doesn't matter if they're in a school or whatever. So I think the explanation on how the funding is going to take place is very important in that.
And I agree, and that's why when we spoke earlier this week, or last week rather, I said I welcome those questions, because the bottom line is we have to do what's best for our kids, for our students and their success. When we talk about this, even, you know, Garrett County, which is a lot smaller than us, they've just hired 2 directors of teaching and learning, one for the middle and high and one for elementary. They're a lot smaller than us, but they see the need of addressing that gap and assurance that their students are growing in a strong capacity. And we talk a lot about the kids, but we also have to focus in on our teachers. Do our teachers understand coach-responsive teaching and learning? Do our teachers understand the impact of best practices and strategies? Do our teachers really understand the RTI process, the MTSS process? Do our teachers truly understand what grouping looks like and measuring that data from elementary to middle to high, having those attributes along the way? Are we providing that kind of clarity and guidance? And we talk about transparency. Transparency needs to be seen from us so our parents and our families understand what's happening. Do they understand that we have one person dealing with both finance and human resource? Do they understand that we have one person dealing with both facility and transportation? We're doing everything we can to buckle down. We're doing every single thing we possibly can to buckle down, including when positions are completed, someone retires, someone moves on, or we have an opportunity for a vacancy, not filling it to assure that we can meet the needs of students. So I think it's so important that, yes, we are very clear about what we're spending, but I think we provide clarity and transparency on the why we are spending it, so those students have every opportunity to be successful. Then I think clarity will be the biggest win for us all. On top of that, when I talk about this director of teaching and learning, you know, I was looking at our GT, and I'm glad we've got a position posted. But when we look at GT and we see the low number of diversity in gifted and talented programming, some of that is because we're not training our teachers to see those things. It takes a skill set. Mr. Gario mentioned the ELL population. Being able to be a classroom tier 1 teacher but provide instructional practices to ELL students is a skill set. So when we have someone that knows how to provide these tools and skills to all of our teachers, providing a train-the-trainer process, building a team that is so instructionally sound, we're going to see immediate growth, and we'll see a quick return on investment. This is what I know. This is what I've seen and I've done at every district that I've worked in, and I know what it takes to build it. And we can't expect different results doing the same things. We can't. We have got to look at this thing and do it differently. Now, the last thing I want to do is spend district money. I don't want to just go out spending money, but we've got to meet the needs of students. And this is what I know to do it. And again, we're not looking to create additional positions in the future. We're looking for balance. And we will make sure that in the future, that if there are positions that aren't needed, we will not fill those positions.
And I think you said, I mean, the one thing the community has asked is that we get this district, what is the terminology they used to, right the ship. I think we're doing that, and so I think that there's a clear understanding that there's going to be some changes needed, and I mean, the way you put it was great. I mean, we can't keep doing the same things that we've been doing and expecting better. So I appreciate you researching that and bringing it before the board.
Thanks.
So the director of teaching and learning, from what I understand, will answer to the assistant superintendent. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay, so I guess what I'm very concerned about is that this person, whoever it is, will truly have the grasp that, I mean, you know, if we don't right the ship starting in 3rd grade or before 3rd grade, we lose these kids, because it's really hard to start making up some of these basic skills that they need at that point. So I'm just wondering how these 2 positions will address the kids starting even in preschool, and how what continuum is that gonna be? Because I know it looks great to be in the high school, I know that, but I also know that we have many other kids in all spectrums of our education that those need to be addressed. So how can you describe to me on possibilities of how maybe those gaps will be taken care of at all levels?
So you're speaking of several different things. As far as the Student Success and Equity Officer, he will collaborate with the needs of each specific school. He will look at, for example, you mentioned high school. You have things like Gear Up for Success. You have things like Upward Bound. You have immigration programs specifically to migrant students. We have not accessed those. So those are things that he or she could work on specifically for the high school. As far as the Director of Teaching and Learning, again, each we're not saying that that person's going to go in and they're going to go in and work with that school leader, their instructional team, and create a plan and process. Now, obviously, there has to be a line of what those expectations will look like. But they're not going to just throw it at them. They're going to meet with them, come up with a plan of success, work through that plan, and we'll see growth. I mean, and the thing is, I mean, you're wanting me to tell you the success story. If we could tell you the success story, we would have already done it. I mean, the reality is that I know Miss Sally's great. Miss Sally's list of what she's supposed to do is 2 pages long. Literally, 2 pages long. So we have got to find folks that can report to her, they will work with her, and create a plan for each building that is unified in a lateral plan for student success.
Yeah. I'm just looking at this, that we need these things.
Mr. Becker, our average ACT is 14.
I know what it is.
So that's the average. Our average ACT is 14. So you take out all the perfect scores, because we've got a ton of kids. I mean, we've actually got national merit scholars. When you take out those numbers, and then take out the white kids, and then look at what our numbers are. I'm just saying, this is a desperate need. This isn't something where I'm saying, oh, this is something that's going to help a little bit. I'm saying for us to say we are giving our kids the best route for success, we've got to ensure that our teachers have access to best strategies. We're putting the best information in their hands, then teaching them how to use those things to teach and provide instruction to our students. That is a process. It takes manpower to do it, people that have the skill set to do it. And I believe that we have those people. We just have to give them an interview, apply, and we'll have them on the job.
You know, I can guarantee you I want the best for every child in this school system. I want the best for everybody and our staff. And for all of us to be successful, all of us have to be on board. And I think that, you know, this is going to come down to, you know, approving these 2 positions. But then again, we also need to see immediately how these positions are going to work, and that it isn't just the school that's involved here. It isn't just the district. We had parents here to wish their kids great success because of track and baseball, but how often are those parents coming into our building and actually being a part of their educational careers? And that has to be part of it too. So I guess...
Can I speak to that real quick since you just brought that up?
Sure.
Stephen Covey talks about the circle of control. I can't control what those parents do. But what I can do in my circle of control, and I'm telling you this, sir, because you can look at my resume and see that it's been done. we can look at our circle of control within the time we have these kiddos, building that trust, building that mindset, that growth mindset, building that grit, building that ability to work through the tough situations, assuring the same thing for our teachers. When we do that, we will see immediate growth. Now, it didn't take us overnight. Overnight, we didn't become a district where our ACT was 14. There wasn't an overnight thing. So we're not going to get out of this overnight. However, we will get out of this, putting the right people on the bus, that good to great mentality, using the right strategies, the right skill sets. We will get out of this. And, you know, going back to riding the ship, if anything, instead of us saying, you know, it's going to take families and why they're not, let's apply those families for making sure those kids are here. You know, we can also hold, I mean, I'm getting data from the athletic coaches right now on our athletes' GPAs. And let me tell you, we have some accountability to do for ourselves. We have some, you know, as we're talking about parents bringing them in here, we have some educators, we have the same kind of accountability we hold ourselves to.
Absolutely.
So this allows us the opportunity to create processes where, you know, I'll oftentimes say comparing ourselves to a hospital. You know, compare ourselves to a hospital. When we think about a hospital, where do you want your kids to go if they ever hurt themselves? You want them to go to a UK hospital, right? Why? Because you have the best doctors being trained by the best doctors in a learning institution where failure is accepted because you're learning, you're growing, you're building that up as a learning environment. And that's the same thing we're trying to do here with a person like a director of teaching and learning. You're creating this opportunity where learning is the norm. You know, those instructional rounds, those creative practices where failure is okay. It's okay to fail as long as we're learning from that. Reflective teaching and learning throughout the process. And that's what this person can bring us. And it becomes a overall mindset shift of excellence where we understand, you know what, I might not have got that right. Let's reflect on it. Let's look at someone that has this process down to a T, and then let's grow in that area. So I get it. We all want instantaneous success. We all want to make sure that this happens and that happens. But with the process and getting the right people on the bus in the right seats, we will see some growth.
And if memory serves me correctly, when we were at the peak of our academic status within this district, we've had these positions before, and they went away. I remember some people in these positions. And so, seems like to me, I see the direction that we're going, because when we were academically killing it, so to speak, I've been listening to my kids too much. We've had these positions before.
Any other comments or concerns?
None at this time. If that being the case, then I'd like to offer the motion for approval of the Director of Teaching and Learning and the Student Success and Equity Officer for the district.
Second motion.
So we have a motion and a second. Is there any other discussion? Okay. All those in favor of the motion for the creation of the Director of Teaching and Learning and the Student Success and Equity Coach? All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you all.
Thank you, Dr. Ross.
You should have jumped on the fire real early, didn't you? Sorry.
Okay, let's move down to Ms. Huddleston. You are up.
Start.
Okay, so we're going to talk about the balance sheet, so forth and so on. So,
That's my favorite part.
yeah.
Okay. Comedian over here.
Oh.
Hey. No, everybody leaves at this part, so. And we'll start off with the bank recon, and when we look at that, the cash from the first of the month to the end of the month went up approximately $800,000. The general fund, for looking back over from this time last year, this year has increased about $1.4
million. And so on down at the bottom, you'll see that the balance at the close of the month was 12.7. When we reconcile that with our outstanding checks and our outstanding adjustments, we are down to 12.4, which is our bank balance, our cash balance. So, we reviewed when looking at the balance sheet, we can see that the assets and the liabilities and equity accounts do balance. And the monthly report, we have all the activities that we have completed for the month. We have a lot of payments going out just because we had that deadline for those POs. We're getting at the end of the fiscal year. At this end, we don't want to carry over anything that we can get in and get documented that we have it and get it invoiced and paid for, so that we just have fewer adjustments and fewer purchasing that are payments coming out of fiscal year 23. So, and on the vendor invoices, there's some of the things that I point out. That was a lot of it was really routine. You're going to see a lot of Amazons. You see teachers trying to get their money spent before the end of the year. So we had like a KU electric bill of $33,000. Paul Miller, we spent about $10,000 or a little less than $10,000 on those bus repairs that we've been talking about. Pro Sound, you're going to see a bill for the press box system and also our choir system, which ended up being around $6,400. And also I included our Southern Petro, which is our diesel fuel for the month, just to kind of give you an idea of where we're going on that. And that was around $8,700. And then I know we had talked about the Vinson lighting, and that was the lighting in Gravely Hall. We spent another $4,500 there trying to get those things wrapped up. A couple more things I wanted to mention, that I did check our tax collection percentages, and at the end of the month, we had, it's down to points now to where we have 2% of our bills outstanding and 0.05% of our dollar amount outstanding. So we are right there at it, and we ended up and we sent those tax bills that we were looking at delinquent over to our attorney's office to let them look and send those off, and had those actually sold them in June. So you'll see that coming up. And then I talked with Train today to find out where we were on our HVA system over at the high school, because we've had some payments on there that you can see that has went for that project. The unit vents have arrived, and Corey, our HVAC man, has started installing those, which that was in our agreement we were going to self-install. The rooftop units are scheduled to be installed in July and August, so hopefully get those in before we have students back on ground. And then the control upgrades, which is where we can monitor from a computer what room is at what temperature, what zones are at what temperature. That's at a 65% completion rate right now. So we are right there at it. We're going to see those wonderful results from that here soon.
Do we need approval for the financial report?
We do.
I'd like to offer a motion for approval of the finance report statement as presented.
I second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second for the approval of the financial report as submitted. All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Okay, let's go down to
I got
invoices.
one more thing I want to bring up. You had designated me to work with her and check on things. I can switch that over to Ms. Esther.
Are you
Because
tired
of her
of
background.
Well,
Yay!
if you, and
So much
that's,
fun.
that's fine.
Okay, I can do that, or I can do all of you.
No, it's just her.
I think it would be fine if Esther wants to do that. Okay, so you all can get that together.
Right, it'd be better. You all know the language.
Okay.
When are you doing this?
Do we,
Esther, you know that's not a paid position.
Just get some brownies for it.
yeah.
Okay, let's move on to the invoices.
I had talked about those, about some information that I had
Yeah.
sent to Mr. Ball, so
Yes.
I really have no more on that,
Everything's
unless you have
fine.
questions.
No, everything's fine on those.
Okay, so I make a motion to approve the payment of invoices as presented.
Second?
So we have a motion and a second for the approval of the invoices as submitted. All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Okay, if y'all, I know y'all have had a chance to go through the consent agenda items.
It's a lot of mileage there.
That's all right.
Not with your tongue.
Takes a
You
bite.
start slowing down. Take care.
He
Say,
keeps,
how often do you get an oil change?
Start taking a usual bicycle. I'm hard on him.
all are bad. Okay, does anybody have any questions or concerns about the consent agenda?
No.
We need a motion, please.
I'd offer a motion for approval of the consent agenda as presented.
Second?
Okay, we have a motion and a second for the approval of the consent agenda as presented. All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Okay, now we're gonna go down to other. I have an item that I wanna get with the board. I'm gonna request a special call meeting on the 20th. And in that meeting, there will be a discussion with Dr. Ross concerning goals and what our goals are, what his goals are, and then whatever else. We're gonna get the agenda together this probably Thursday morning.
20th, you say?
Yes, which is Monday. So I did hear back from Jennifer. She would prefer to meet from 5 to 8. Is everybody good with that?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. We really don't need approval on that. Just get the business done. And then on the other one, we've received some sad news. Our fellow board member, Mr. Stanfield, has sent in a letter of resignation, and it just breaks my heart. He's been a great board member.
Amen.
He and I have had a lot of discussions. It was so bad for him to live so close to me. But anyways, Wade, I'm going to turn this over to you because I'm sure you have some things you want to.
Well, it'll be short and sweet. I would like to first say thanks to this board because I came to this board through the election of you guys because I was filling a term for another board member. And so first, thank you guys for believing enough in me that I could bring something to the table that would help the students and the families of this great district in which I love. They have educated my children, and so my hat's off to these teachers and to this district and this community because they have done nothing but show us love, and so that's appreciated. A lot of people have been really, really nice to us, and my dad has always taught me that when people are nice, they don't have to be nice to you. And so those people who were nice, I appreciate you, and I appreciate them and their support over the years, just as being a parent in this district, and also serving this district as one of its administrators and serving on this great board with that. And so I say thank you guys, and I know that listen, the best is yet to come. I know things are lining up, and I hope that this board will continue to build and grow and get on board with this new superintendent, and let's get this thing going. I won't be too far away. I'll be watching because I'm vested now because I want to see the fruits of the labor, you know, come to fruition, and so I'm excited about that. And before I go, I would like to make a suggestion to this board, and I hope that you guys at some point in time down the road would definitely look into this and consider it. And with that being said, I would like to, before I leave this seat, ask this board that if you would please look into naming the Admiral Field after Coach Paul Morris. He has dedicated years and years and years, and if you look under his tutelage, the accomplishments that this district has been afforded by his guidance of our kids. And so it hasn't been named in all these years. I would ask that this board at some time please look into naming that baseball field after Coach Paul Morris. That would be my recommendation and my final request of this board before I leave. So thank you for your time, and I appreciate it.
Thank you, Wade. We have to actually vote as a board. You cannot vote, Wade, for your own leaving. So I guess there's three of us, so there's enough of us here to do that. But we have to vote on two things. We have to vote on accepting Wade's resignation, which is dated the 14th, which should be starting tomorrow morning.
Yes.
So this is his official.
And let me, before you vote on that, just so I can say this, so everybody, I would still be right in my seat and fighting for it, but just as of the end of this month, I will no longer be a resident of the district, and so, of course, that would not allow me to hold the seat, so I will be moving, so that's the reason. So, actually, I'm going to be in Lexington just for a little while, but I hope that my feet will land in Georgia.
Right, that's right.
Georgia on my mind.
On my mind.
Well, and like I said, it's been an honor to serve with you.
Thank you.
And to come in an appointed position is hard, because there's so much knowledge that has to be acquired. And it's not easy, but you've always been at the conferences, you've always participated in our meetings, and you're going to be missed. So I do need a, go ahead, Glenn.
You've been a participant in 3 different districts: Harrisburg, Lexington, and Louisville. So you have brought
Jessamine and Madison.
Oh, Jessamine, you brought a lot.
I've been around for a while.
You have brought a lot to the table, and that has been an asset to the district. And you made success all easy.
Appreciate it. Thank you,
It's
sir.
not even just his background, but also the passion. You've been really passionate.
Yeah.
And
Thank you, guys.
I hope whoever takes your seat next will be as passionate as you.
Okay, so we need a motion to accept Mr. Stanfield's
I make a
resignation.
motion that we accept Mr. Wade Stanfield's
Do we have to?
motion to resign from the Board of Education for Danville School District.
So we need a second.
I'll second that.
So a reluctant second. All those in favor of the motion to accept Mr. Stanfield's resignation from the board, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion carries.
Maybe.
Do not count his vote. Okay, which now means that we have a board vacancy starting tomorrow. It's really interesting that you would think with an election coming up, that we could actually hold off on making an appointment. But according to legal advice that we've gotten from KSBA, and there's not a choice. We have to declare the vacancy. We have 60 days to fill the vacancy. If we don't fill the vacancy, then it does go to KDE, and the commissioner will fill the vacancy. So my concern is, honestly, is finding someone who would want to serve for probably less than 6 months, because it's a lot to absorb. But I do think that person is out there. So with that said, Dr. Thomas and I and Dr. Ross, there's already been, Olivia, there's already been a schedule put together. There's certain things we have to do according to law. And so we will be following all that. And thankfully, KSBA gives us all the guidance that we need to do that. So that's already here, it's in hand. So as board chair, I'm gonna declare a board vacancy. And so we need a motion on that, please, that there is a board vacancy.
Oh, I make a motion for the board vacancy.
Second?
Okay, we have a motion and a second to accept and start the process for a board vacancy as of tomorrow. All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Okay, and Mr. Stanfield, I really want you to do 15.
Oh my gosh, I would love to. At this time, I offer a motion for adjournment.
Second.
We have a motion and a second for the adjournment of this meeting. All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Thank you all.
How about that?